the day before I went on Flames Nation, I had heard from a couple of people that I trust that Wayne Gretzky wasn't welcome. It wasn't booted, and it was kind of a little hazy on what it was. And my response, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And then, to be honest, I kind of forgot about it. And then I got on Flames Nation, and we're talking, and the Olympics come up, and this is a very organic bullshitting session. And we kind of get into how, like, you know, it was time for the Americans and, you know, Canada and Hockey Canada. And it just kind of popped in my mouth or my head, and it came out of my mouth. I didn't even think anything of it. You know, podcast ends. Literally nothing. And then all of a sudden, my phone starts blowing up.
Clearing the Crease! Oh! Clearing the Crease! Aye, aye,
Welcome back to another edition of the Clearing the Crease podcast, powered by Ozune.net. He is your favorite Calder Trophy winner, Andrew Raycroft, the Razor, if you will. Your favorite Stanley Cup winner, Mike Commodore in the house, who, you know, I'm just chilling, enjoying my weekend, Saturday night, and all of a sudden I get a text from general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, Barclay Pernetta, who sends me a picture flipping my bird alongside some gorgeous redhead by the name of Commodore. Man, you are like tearing up the prairies this winter. I thought you were an Arizona guy now, and here you are doing every roast possible across Western Canada, Commodore.
Well, I did. I've said no to a couple of them, but I couldn't say no to the Lethbridge Hurricanes. It was a nice chance to go home. Yes. So quick trip. Went up Friday, hung out with the parents a little bit, met a couple buddies, had a couple beers in Calgary. And then, Saturday drove down to Lethbridge. I've been through Lethbridge a ton as an adult, driving, down back and forth from the States. But other than to stop at the A&W for gas, I haven't stopped. Nothing against Lethbridge. So I was like, yeah, I'll come do this. So it was me and Andre Waugh. So hanging out with the Lethbridge Hurricanes organization, a little celebrity dinner, raised some money for their education fund. It was a good time. Plowed some drinks, obviously. Went and had a real good lunch at a place called the Sisters Pub. And so, I got to give a shout out to this place. Unfortunately, I wasn't hungry and I only had a cup of soup. I wish I would have eaten more, but apparently this place is called the Sisters Pub because however many sisters, 2 or 3, I guess, probably, they won the lottery and bought the pub. And the chef at the pub is a Red Seal chef. Like Red Seal. Do you guys know much about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the highest chef you can be, I think, in Canada. So anyways, place was awesome. I just had some soup, but I definitely need to go back. But yeah, me and Andre Waugh, we got after it, had a few drinks.
Did you play with Andre?
I did not, no. He was on the no, I never played with him, played against him, obviously. So we touched on a little bit of 04 stuff, but because he was on Tampa, I was in Calgary.
Well, I was just going to say, when I think of Andre Waugh, I think of that 2004 Tampa team that ultimately edged you guys out in final. But Andre Waugh was besties with all the wrestlers that lived in Tampa at the time. So when they won the cup that night, he was like partying with the late Hulk Hogan and one of the Nasty Boys for all you 80s, 90s of wrestling aficionados. So like Brian Knobbs and Hulk Hogan, like there was Andre Waugh, thick as thieves with the wrestlers, which seemed very apropos for that guy's personality at that time.
Yeah, big time. He's high energy. There's no question. We were up on stage. And, honestly, I really didn't have to do too much.
Those are the best ones.
Basically, just clear out, get out of the way, and shut up and let Andre go. But he has some great stories from their run. And yeah, the wrestling angle, I didn't know. I mean, I knew that Hulk Hogan was in the building there when we lost, but I didn't know until I played in Tampa that's like, I mean, I'm assuming it still is, but definitely back then, that's where all the wrestlers live, or a lot of them. They all live in Tampa Bay or right in that area. So, yeah, anyways, it was a good time. Thank you to the Lethbridge Hurricanes for having me.
Razor, how did you go to any sisters pubs?
No, I didn't get any. I didn't get any Red Seal sisters pubs. What did I?
How did Quebec City end?
I had Yeah, Quebec City was, I probably did a bit of that, but no, I was just full of minor hockey. 2 weekends left. So we are grinding here right now. So we had playoffs. Everybody did well. And I think I drove like 600 miles over the 2.5 days. So here we are.
You drove that Boston? You drove that Boston to Quebec City?
Oh yeah. That's an easy one. Yeah, it was only like 6.5. Yeah, nothing to it.
An easy one.
Yeah, an easy one. Yeah, it's like going to Lethbridge. Nice and easy. A&W. We stopped at a few A&Ws for sure.
I tell you what, A&W is pretty good. They do
it. Is. My kids love it.
For fast food, obviously I try and avoid it as you get older, and I'm pretty good. But A&W is actually like, for fast food, it's pretty legit. I would say, in my opinion.
My 10-year-old lit up last night as there was a commercial showing $4.99 teen burgers. Not to just pump out all the A&W promotion right now, but
good point.
The teen burger excitement on special right now. Kind of looking over at the parents, going, "Hey, teen burgers are on special right now. Maybe we can go make a cameo at A&W." So yeah. There we go. Hey, just a quick reminder, everybody, if you're enjoying the show, enjoying the content with what we bring you each and every week and all the extra add-ons with the pod and on social media, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify if you're listening in audio format, or make sure you're following along, obviously, on YouTube, where you can find us, and along on all the social channels, Instagram, X, TikTok, you name it. And we'll get to our Clearing the Crease Saturday night special coming up in a moment as we cashed in another big one. But Kami, I think let's kind of address the news of the week. You kind of made international headlines. No sooner do we finish hitting stop on our last episode, the next day here I am scrolling through. So Razor, are you with me on this one? What, the HE double hockey sticks? How are you dropping this? Where was that nugget on the show? So Wayne Gretzky allegedly booted out of Hockey Canada or Team Canada's room overseas in Milano Cortina, set the record straight. People coming back, disputing the report of what you were talking about on Flames Nation. Give us what you got.
Well, before I get started, I actually brought a prop to this week's. So just for the record, since all this stuff happened, Stu, our producer, put me on strict orders. Stay off Twitter. Save it for the podcast. So my girlfriend has been going through my messages, and apparently the theme is, there's two themes. One, I'm full of shit, and B, I need to comb my hair. So I got to get a brush. So I brought a brush before I get into it. We'll comb it back here so I look a little better.
Oh my God.
First off, like you just touched on, I had no plans of any of this. If I had any plans of blowing this up, I would have saved it for our podcast. I wouldn't have done it elsewhere. Look, the whole story is that the day before I went on Flames Nation, I had heard from a couple of people that I trust that Wayne Gretzky wasn't welcome. It wasn't booted, and it was kind of a little hazy on what it was. And my response, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And then, to be honest, I kind of forgot about it. And then I got on Flames Nation, and we're talking, and the Olympics come up, and this is a very organic bullshitting session. And we kind of get into how, it was time for the Americans and, Canada and Hockey Canada. And it just kind of popped in my mouth or my head, and it came out of my mouth. I didn't even think anything of it. Podcast ends. Literally nothing. And then all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up, and I'm looking at these texts. I'm like, oh shit. I should have thought this through a little bit. So anyways,
Now give us a sense of who's messaging it, friends, managers, executives, what's going on?
Messaging me from
after
it. Yeah.
Are these reporters?
I knew what was going on, because it was Mike Grinelli from Spit and Chicklets. So that was the first. That was the first cue. It's man, is this true? This is bullshit. Something I could find it, but it was along those lines. And then I think Chicklets was live, so they saw it, and then they fired it out. And so I think that's kind of what was going on or whatever. So anyways, I'm like, this is so. I'm talking to Stu. I'm like, all right, how should I handle this a little bit? This was not my intention, but in saying that, I do stand by my word. So I put out that video or whatnot, and I heard a little bit more about what might have apparently happened. And I did hear about the Gretzky thing with a security guard, I guess, like before the game or whatever. Now, there is a world where you could look at that and be like, security guard, like I'm sure he's fully credentialed. This is Wayne Gretzky. You're on the bench. But I am not here to question Wayne Gretzky. If he says that's what happens, that's what happened. What mine was more about was apparently the day before the gold medal match, Gretzky was supposed to go in and talk to the team. And that didn't happen, and no reason was given. I am very confident on that. But I wrote some notes down because I didn't want to miss anything. But anyways, that's basically
State of the Union.
So basically look, I believe Wayne. I still stand by what I heard. I do also think, and look, I don't want to talk any more about this after this episode. I do also think there is a world where, Wayne Gretzky is a very classy guy. Wayne doesn't need any of this. Wayne just takes the high road, and Hockey Canada hasn't been they've had their problems and they're going in their new direction. And the way Wayne, what the biggest point I want to get out is the demonizing of Wayne Gretzky needs to stop.
Let's win another Saturday Night Special.
Yeah, let's do
There we
that.
go.
Let's move.
And I know good conversation, but what a strange year for hockey, to steal a line from John Stewart. Okay, we cashed in. Not only were there gold medals
let's
handed
get
out
back to
last
winning.
week,
Awesome.
we dominated. We cashed in, and how about that? Our second win of the year on the Clearing the Crease Saturday Night Special. So let's pick 3 more winners. Let's do it 2 weeks in a row. Razor, you were ready to go. Before we hit the record button, you said, all right, this is my pick. I'm ready to cash it in. Go ahead.
Snipped this one out right away. Vancouver Canucks at the Winnipeg Jets. I'm taking the Winnipeg Jets, taking Connor Hellebuck, and that's because they're in Chicago the night before. Like Vancouver, they're going to be everyone's gone by the weekend, and I'm taking
They better.
the Winnipeg Jets.
They better.
They better have the tank for McKenna on in a big way on March 7th.
They're at the golf simulators already, getting the kinks out.
Jets, Jets. Commie, give me the Buffalo Sabres over the Nashville Predators. I mean, the Preds keep lingering. Shout out to your boy Stammer, but give me the Sabres who are kicking ass.
Yeah, 30 goals, you said, right? But before the show started?
Yeah.
Remember? And I remember a few months ago, we were like, what's going on? He had 3 goals and 1 assist in like 15, 20 games, something in there.
It was
nothing.
They started giving him the puck, and now the Preds are winning.
Friend of the show.
But go Sabres. Yeah, friends of the show. I'm going to go a little, I went with Old Faithful last week. The Carolina Hurricanes came through. I'm going to involve Old Faithful again, but I'm going to go the other way with it. The Canes got the Oilers on Friday. They're doing Alberta. They got the Oilers on Friday. They're going to be heated up for that. Maybe they're the 06 fine. They've probably forgotten about that, and then they could do the Alberta swing. So next night in Calgary isn't playing on Friday. I'm going to try and boost our odds up a little bit. I'm going to take the Flames to beat the Canes on Saturday night.
Baby, I love it. I love it. We're going for it.
I love it. I'd love to look back, and you got the best. I think you might have the best record. I've been terrible.
There's a commie bowl.
Yeah,
I was going to say, right? Yeah. I mean, between the Flames and the Canes all year, you have had a winning record picking winners every weekend.
Well, thank you very much.
You kind of stick between those teams. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, mostly the Canes. I think I went with the Flames once. That was one of the old losses.
So, let's see who's left with the Flames after this weekend too. So
that's true.
So there you go. Flames, Sabres, and last but not least, the Winnipeg Jets. So there's your 3 winners for your Saturday night special. Looking ahead. Wow, where else we go? Time flies when you're having fun. Do we have it? Don't Puck It Up this week? Oh, you know what? Actually, well, here before we hit that, Jim Hiller, we got another coaches fired in LA.
And we got
I gotta say,
too,
guys,
Steve-O. We got questions too. We got.
Oh, yes, our fan question of the week as well. Let me get that queued up. But Jim Hiller gets punted. I got to say, I'm surprised he made it this far considering how things ended in the playoffs last year, boys.
Well, that was a disaster, of course, and that's been leaning.
Yeah.
Like every time they lose, I think about the fact that he called that goalie interference, and they didn't get the puck out, and they blew that series. Just never really clicked after that. I think it is a little surprising it went this far, but Kenny Holland doesn't like firing guys. He wants to keep this thing going, and unfortunately, it just got to the point you couldn't do it anymore. The way they came out of the break was pretty embarrassing. And now you got Matt Green back there. So DJ Smith.
Oh, is he?
Up. Yeah, Greeny's
DJ Smith.
Greeny's
DJ and Smith
assistant
and
coach now.
Greeny.
He's the game changer here. I think he's like the positive guy. He's the one that's gonna change the room and lift the room. I think DJ Smith just kind of moves up and runs drills, but I think Kenny's idea of moving Matt Green in there is to give everybody a breath and let them rip a little bit.
Greener is a good guy, and that is a fresh air. Sorry, I didn't know that, actually. So good for Greener. My boy Kenny, our boy, friend of the show, obviously.
Yeah.
He's been busy since that golf trip.
yeah.
He's been busy. But yeah, I'm with you guys. You know, I thought there was a world where he would have been gone before it even got started once Ken got hired. But Ken is, like you touched on, Razor, he's a loyal guy. You know, he hasn't fired very many coaches in season. Yeah. Now, granted, also
just the second one, Tommy. It was good. Woodcroft at Edmonton, and now this one with Jim Hiller.
Right, and Woodcroft. Yeah, so it hasn't happened very often. Now, in saying that, Ken Holland has been, and it's his doing as well. But he's been blessed with some pretty good teams in Detroit, and things were pretty smooth sailing there with Nick Lidstrom on the back end. But in saying that, he is a loyal guy. So, but I do think I think we all agree something had to happen. They need to start scoring some goals win games. However, Pacific Division is pretty much wide open.
Yeah, well, that's
so if you can get it together a little bit, like you're not out of it. So it's not like you're sitting in the Central and you're 25 points back of first place. So you're in the mix if you can win 3 or 4 in a row. So yeah, I won't say long time coming, but not surprised, I guess.
Okay, time for our Ask CTC question. This is where you, the fans, you, the listener, you, the consumer, fire off a question on whatever social channel you may be watching, whether it's on YouTube or if you're following along on Instagram, X, TikTok, listening on Apple or Spotify. And so this week we've got Alphonse, courtesy of YouTube, asking Razor and Commie, where was your worst and best dressing rooms that you have been throughout your career?
Ooh. I'll go. It can be any dressing room. Yeah.
Any dressing room.
Dressing room. Okay, I got it.
KHL, right?
Actually, none of those that I can remember were terrible. So no, actually.
Okay.
Not that I remember,
right.
but I did miss.
Okay.
I missed a couple games at the beginning of the year to some of those Siberian cities. So I might have missed a couple.
Happened to.
Okay.
The first 2 that came to mind. The best one I remember, first one that came to mind, Minnesota Wild in St. Paul. The visitors' dressing room there, from what I remember, was awesome.
Yep.
Like great stalls, lots of space. I guess I'm going to stick in the state of Minnesota for this whole thing. I thought that was incredible. I enjoyed sitting around in there. Worst dressing room that I remember, I'm not going to be in the NHL. I'm going to the old days, the WCHA, Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs in their old stadium. Yeah, I played for the University of North Dakota. We went in there for one series a year. The visiting dressing room in Duluth, first off, was incredibly small. Those really like shitty, narrow metal stalls, or whatever. But above all, what I remember more than anything else is the entire room was pink. And so they were supposed to put you in. I'm not sure what the psychology is behind that.
They're messing with your heads.
Yeah, it's like pink's a soft color. Maybe you go out there and play soft or whatever they're kind of thinking with that. But the entire dressing room for the time I was there was pink. I remember that.
Well, I've got, if we're going all the way back to the junior days, the one that stands out in juniors was the North Bay Centennials. The North Bay Memorial Gardens, like packed in like sardines. And inevitably we got smoked one night when I was in Sudbury, and the Gatorade jug got tipped in this small room by our coach after the game, and everything got destroyed, like soaked, everything soaked, water everywhere. For whatever reason, that popped into my head as the worst dressing room that I've ever been in. I like the LA one. I did a couple playoff series there. The LA one on the road was good setup, lots of room. Minnesota's huge, like Kami was saying. I think like best home dressing room, Toronto or Vancouver. We had pretty sick setups in both of those places.
Yeah, you had space for days when you get that, even out of the change room there in Toronto, right?
Oh yeah,
Razor,
there's
like,
room
just
everywhere back
space
there.
for
Yeah,
days.
I mean, of course, it's the Leafs. But yeah, that's a pretty good setup there. The old Cotton
I do
Club,
know where
guys.
I do know where the worst dressing rooms, I think, whether it's home for you or where you are now. I could take a guess at it. I think I'd be right.
Those ones are now.
The old Saddle
The
Dome.
old Saddle Dome was on the list for 20 years ago. It was on the list.
I was just in there not that long ago, like earlier this year, and I hadn't been there in a long time. It's crazy how much, like literally it's the same as 2004.
That is nuts.
Like maybe there's been some equipment upgrades, but like the actual dressing room is like, other than paint maybe, is exactly the same because they can't do anything with it. They have no more, like there's nowhere to go.
Space.
So,
Yeah.
But the Flames are rectifying that in whatever it is, 2 more seasons, and then the new place will be open. But yeah, those rooms are terrible.
Yeah. I mean, like from a functionality standpoint in 2026, the Saddle Dome is grossly out of date. But
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, from just a fan perspective, like in that crowd,
I
from an
agree.
acoustic standpoint, man, like Kami, I'm sure, like, man, there's got to be some good memory, like hot crowds in the Saddle Dome.
Hey, as a fan, like I've been going there now for years. Obviously, as a fan,
Yeah.
I will say the Saddle Dome, like watching the game and in there, I think it's great. Now they lose a little bit of something on the concourse, right? It's a little bit like you're in a cave, and there aren't the amenities that there are in the new places, obviously. But for watching a game, I totally agree. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. What about Uniondale for you guys at one time?
I was
go to Long
that was a
Island.
dump too.
That was messy.
Oh, is that what in Nassau there?
Yeah, NASA.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I should have thought of that. That place was.
It's a dump.
Yeah, sorry. I actually can't believe I didn't think of that. That place was terrible.
There you go, Alphonse. There you go. Your question has been answered. And for anybody else curious, the hashtag AskCTC, hit us up on whatever social channel or on YouTube as well, and we'll find it at some point in time. And we'll respond down the road on a future episode. Okay, time for Don't Puck It Up. What do you got for us this week, Kami?
You know what? I'm going to go with the Don't Puck It Up, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. You are now just 1 point clear. The Ducks are chasing you down. It's the worst division, I think, by a fair amount. There's only 2 teams in the division. They're on the plus side for goal differential. And I believe it's Vegas and I think maybe Edmonton, I think is the other one. I think those are the 2. Don't puck this up. You haven't played great coming out. I mean, I know it's just been a week. It's only been a couple of games. But it's set up pretty nicely here for you, where if you can win the division, you should have nothing's easy. There's no question about that. Everything's hard, but it should, in theory, be the easiest path to get to the conference finals. So get it together. Don't puck it up.
I'm going at all of the general managers, especially the ones that have an opportunity to get in the playoffs. Don't puck it up. Don't sit on your hands here. Don't be conservative. Don't allow yourself to think that prospects and draft picks are more important than trying to make your team better. The salary cap's going up. There's no excuses anymore. Money-wise, you can figure a lot of things out. Don't puck it up. Go out and make your team better. It's going to be a hard, terrible month for everybody playing. You can do your team a huge service by giving them a little bump at the start of March by making them feel good about getting better and getting into the playoffs.
I suppose we should have prefaced at the start of this episode, we've kind of stayed away just because of the moving parts that at any point trades could go down here leading up to the trade deadline as we
We
record
don't want to
this.
look like idiots, basically.
We don't want to look like idiots, and so this is the hedging our bets episode. And don't worry, when the dust settles on the trade deadline, none of us are insiders here, so we'll react and break it down in the days following after the trade deadline. So we've kind of stayed a little free and easy away from all the potential chaos, but kind of further to that point, Razor, I'm going, don't puck it up, Buffalo Sabres. You know, you got a good thing going right now with the trade deadline looming. Talk about Alex Tuck and his unrestricted free agency looming for the summer. But look, Jarmo, you've been there before with the Blue Jackets. You went all in and didn't want to move anybody. You just kept all those assets, and then you wound up losing everybody. But man, you got a hell of a series win at the time, knocking off the Tampa Bay Lightning, who had like a historic regular season. But Sabres, I'm rooting for you. We're all rooting for you.
Yeah.
One-time potential Sabre, Mike Commodore's rooting for you.
Yes,
so
most
Buffalo,
definitely.
keep the good times going. Our producer is Stu Stone. He's Razor. He's Commie. I'm Cebulski. Throw your hate at me, and we'll see you next time right here on the Clearing the Crease podcast, powered by Ozoon.net. See ya.